You're welcome to my Lord channel. And today I'm going to be talking about receiving property stolen or fraudulently obtained unlike offenses. It is a universal offense, and the elements and ingredients of the offense are the same worldwide. Now, let's go straight down to what's receiving stolen property. Receiving stolen property is when you receive in your possession, directly or indirectly, through your agent or by yourself, property that has been stolen by another and kept in your custody. That's what receiving stolen property is, or fraudulently obtained. And then we also have other like offenses like unlawful possession of arms belonging to armed or police officers, receiving after change of ownership, having possession of things reasonably suspected of having been stolen. So please stay tuned and listen. Now, this offense is regulated in Nigeria by the Penal Code in section 316, 317, 318, 319 of the Penal Code, and in the Criminal Code section 427. Now let's proceed. What does receiving stolen property? I've already defined what receiving stolen property is. Now, the offense is generally a felony, punishable with 14 years imprisonment, both in the Penal Code and in the Criminal Code. However, where the subject matter is a chattel or has to do with postal matter or any chattel, money or valuable security contained therein, the punishment may be life imprisonment as prescribed for in section 427 and section 317 of the Penal Code, section 427 of the Criminal Code and section 317 of the Penal Code. Now we'll move on quickly to what the ingredients are in receiving stolen property. It has been decided in plethora of cases that the ingredients for receiving stolen property include: 1. That the essential ingredients of the offense of receiving stolen property which the prosecution is required to prove in order to secure a conviction are: 1. That the property in question is stolen property. 2. That the accused received or retained such property. 3. That he did so dishonestly. 4. That he knew or had reason to believe that the property was stolen property. So those are the 4 ingredients that the prosecution has to prove in order to secure a conviction. Now, if someone is found to be unlawful possession of arms, still under the chapter of receiving stolen property or fraudulently obtained or like offenses, in section 428 of the Criminal Code, it has been held that if someone is in unlawful possession of arms, etc., belonging to an armed or police officer, he shall be liable to pay 40 naira fine in the Criminal Code in section 428, or pay double the value of all the articles, that is, the firearms in his possession, which he shall so become or be possessed of. That's even if he's not yet in possession and it is noted, is noticed that he is about to receive firearms, unlawful firearms in his possession. He will be liable to pay a fine of 40 naira or double the value of the firearms in his possession. Now, in section 429 of the Criminal Code, it has been said that receiving after change of ownership, for example, if somebody goes and steals a property and then in so doing sells the property and gets the money and gives to someone, it has been held in section 429 that is not an offense. But however, where the owner of the property can be traced or is traced, then property may revert back to the owner. The property may revert back to the owner since the owner has been found. And a person who receives such property after the owner is found cannot be said to be guilty of stolen property, as was held in the case of R versus Villain Sky. Villain Sky is ILLENSKY, reported in 1892 2QB 597. Now, I would like to discuss a particular case which was decided by the Court of Appeal, and the Court of Appeal explained in detail the ingredients of the offense of receiving stolen property. It held as follows in the case of Okoroji. Okoroji is OKOROJI versus State, reported in 2001 FWLR, page 8. In full, Patrick Okoroji, Patrick PATRICK, Okoroji OKOROJI versus the State, reported in 2001 FWLR, page 871, precisely at page 874. Now, it was held that the ingredients of receiving stolen property are: receiving stolen property is manifested when there are the following: proof of stealing of the goods in question, stolen property. B. There must be proof that the person charged dishonestly received the goods allegedly stolen, which is manifested when he either physically received the goods or that they were in the possession of a person over whom he had control. The person charged must have had the stolen property in his possession, whether alone or jointly with another, or has actually aided in concealing or disposing it of when he knew that it was stolen. C. Doctrine of recent possession. That's the third one, doctrine of recent possession. By virtue of Section 148 of the Evidence Act, it stipulates that the court may presume the existence of any fact which it thinks likely to have happened regard being had to the common course of natural events, human conduct, and public and private business in their relation to the facts of the particular case, and in particular, the court may presume: A. That a man who is in possession of stolen goods soon after the theft is either the thief or has received the goods knowing them to be stolen, unless he can account for his possession. D. That's the fourth ingredient, evidence of guilty knowledge, which in effect means that at the time the person charged received or bought the goods, he knew them to be stolen, and the evidence required to establish guilty knowledge may be the following. The evidence to establish guilty knowledge includes the manner in which the goods were received, the time in which the goods were delivered, actions upon delivery, the price paid for the items. Now, you now ask, how does someone prove guilty knowledge of receiving stolen goods under Section 46 of the Evidence Act? In order to prove guilty knowledge under Section 46 of the Evidence Act, the Court of Appeal held as follows. By virtue of Section 46 of the Evidence Act, whenever any person is being proceeded against for receiving any property knowing it to have been stolen, or for having in his possession stolen property for the purpose of proving guilty knowledge, there may be given in evidence at any stage of the proceedings: A. The fact that other property stolen within the period of 12 months preceding the date. The fact that the person stole property within 12 months after the date or following the date of the offense charge was found or had been in his possession. 2. The fact that within 5 years preceding the date after or following the date of the offense charge, he was convicted of any offense involving fraud or dishonesty. 3. It cannot be proved without serving 7 days notice in writing on the offender, or that the property had been in his possession. It cannot be proved without serving 7 days notice in writing on the offender, or that the property had been in his possession. Now, the question now goes as to what is taking or converting. Even if a person just took stuff, taking or converting is fraudulent when there is an intent permanently to deprive the owner of the thing. So be careful how you receive property. You have to find out whether it was stolen or not. else if you are not able to provide reasonable explanation as to how you came about to stolen property, how you received the stolen property, you may be liable to a fine of 200 naira or 6 months imprisonment by virtue of section 430 of the Criminal Code. And or you may be liable to 5 years imprisonment or fine or both by virtue of section 319 of the Penal Code and also 318 of the Penal Code, and also section 319B of the Penal Code. So be warned. Now let me also throw more light. Now, what is necessary? Whether prosecution is bound to call an eyewitness. Is the prosecution bound to call an eyewitness that they saw you receiving stolen property? Well, let's find out. Counsel for the prosecution has a discretion or even a prerogative not to call an eyewitness if he has reasonable belief that such a witness would not speak the truth. Thus, it is not necessary for the prosecution to call a great number of witnesses in order to discharge the onus of proof laid upon it. So the prosecution is bound to prove. It lies on the prosecution to prove that someone actually received stolen property. Now, I must also mention that animals or vehicles can also be received as stolen properties under section 431, and when that is done, that's a misdemeanor punishable with 1 year or 40 naira fine. And then suspicion of stealing such animal attracts a fine. If you're suspected of stealing an animal and they can find feathers or the skin of the animal or any carcass related to the animal with you, then you're guilty of 100 naira fine by section 432 of the Criminal Code. Now, taking reward for recovery of property obtained by means of felony or misdemeanor. If you took a reward, you pretended like you didn't know that a property was stolen and you went to take a reward for whoever finds the property, and then you're caught, you're liable to 7 years imprisonment, even if the offense was carried out outside Nigeria and could be punished like that within Nigeria. And if you're caught in Nigeria, you'll be liable to 7 years imprisonment. So such animals which could be found in lawful possession were stated in section 431 and 432 of the Criminal Code, and they include horse, mare, gelding, ass, mole, camel, ostrich, bull, cow, ox, ram, eel, wether, goat or pig, or the young of any such animal, or any cycle or other vehicle whatsoever, without the consent of the owner or of the person in lawful possession thereof, is guilty of a misdemeanor and is liable to imprisonment for 1 year, like I said, or to fine of 40 naira for every animal or vehicle so used. For every day of default, you'll be liable to 40 naira fine as prescribed for in section 431 of the Penal Code. And an offender of receiving stolen property may be arrested without warrant by the owner or the agent of the owner or a police officer or any other person who suspects you to have stolen a property. Do have a great day. I hope you've enjoyed today's tutorial. Please don't fail to like and subscribe to my channel. Have a blessed day.